Hello, welcome back. My name is Megan. I'm laughing because I am just gonna be straight up and honest and let you know that this is like the last thing I'd like to be doing right now. And I don't know why. It's not personal. It's not like I love connecting with you guys. I love the community. But I just have a lot of resistance to doing readings right now. And the reason I'm here is they keep asking me to come do this. So I listen. I'm not a stubborn masculine. I I just listen. I listen to the guidance. So here I am. And I'm gonna do a reading, a check-in. And what I think I'm gonna do is I'd like to kind of ask some questions about the new moon in Cancer that we just had, and to see how those energies are kind of integrating with us, within us, on our spiritual journeys at this time. And moving forward, I'd like to really focus on the spiritual journey aspect of it. I've had a lot of interesting sort of downloads come through, and as always, if this message resonates, take it. If it doesn't, it's not for you, and that's totally okay. There may be messages later on in this video that are for you, because I will go to the cards in a moment. But I've been working with a divine masculine pretty closely, and we're working on creating something for you guys that I will share more as that becomes more clear. But because we've been working so closely, we've been revisiting our journey, and we've been revisiting points on our journey from the masculine perspective as well as the feminine perspective, and kind of what was going on, what was happening. And I'm gonna get my notes actually, because I don't want to mess up this quote. I think I have it written down. We've kind of like been able to chunk it down to, here's feminine initiations that the feminine goes through, and here's masculine initiations. But even on like a deeper level than that, and this is something that the two of us haven't chatted about yet. So if you're watching, let me know what you think about this. But lately, there's been some messages that I've been getting from my guides, and then I've seen them confirmed through other readers. And the messages are around the masculine completely manifests this connection. The masculine is the one that basically calls in the divine feminine. They get to a point where they're ready and they want to go to the next level, and then all of the running, all of the fear, all of the pushing away, all of the blocking, that is all completely 100% part of their spiritual journey and awakening and initiation that they need to go through. Yes, there's so much that the feminine learns. And I also want to just say here, this may not be all twin flame dynamics, okay? This could be a very specific collective that I'm speaking to, but this has certainly been the case in my experience. Where the feminine is kind of along for the ride, and there's certain initiations that the feminine will go through, and there's so much growth, and it's like spirit is getting the feminine to like the top echelon of her knowing. It's a test of intuition, it's a test of strength, it's a test of power. But then the feminine gets to that point, and then the lesson for that feminine that I'm speaking to, it's about taking none of it personally, because it's all about the masculine. And I say this, and I hope that this can free some people, because a lot of the teaching that's out there, and a lot of the videos that you may watch, whether they're informational videos, whether they're tarot reading videos, they really kind of preach this idea that, well, feminines, if you're not in union, then you must not love yourself enough. You know what I mean? And I started to become really like, ugh, with that. Like, I started to really not like that. Because first off, it feels a little shaming, and it feels a little judgy, and it feels a little like, well, it's all on the feminine. So if it's not working out for you, feminine, it's because you're doing something wrong. There's something that you need to fix. When in my own connection, I kind of had that in the back of my head for a while. And with this divine masculine that I've chatted with, as well as other divine feminine readers that I've chatted with, the stories that we've been able to distill from the real life experience is that's not necessarily the case, and that's certainly not what's going on specifically in our connections, where it's about us and the work that like we're not doing or that we're avoiding. And so I'm sharing this because I hope that if you're someone that's been hard on yourself, if you're a divine feminine watching this and you've been hard on yourself because you felt like you're doing something wrong, yes, there's always pieces to learn. I don't want that to get twisted. We are all expanding and we are all growing and we are all learning every moment, and it's all a gift. And if we can look at the contrast as a gift, beautiful. But there is something to be said for freedom of choice. And for some in these connections, one twin is choosing this powerfully. One twin is saying, yes, I am a child of the divine. I am here on mission. I am here on purpose. I will go where you lead me. And then the other is not. The other is not. And that is because they have personal choice. They have freedom of choice, and they have their own lessons and their own things that they need to learn that they're avoiding, okay? One twin can 110% derail the mission and the timeline, 100%. That's just the truth of it. And this isn't to point blame, but this is just to perhaps empower those that have been putting the blame on themselves, which is a very divine feminine trait, to be like, well, it must be something I'm doing. No, divine feminines, it's not. Directly from the guides, I have, been channeling this stuff, and then I've seen it confirmed within other readers, and they've been channeling the similar things where it's like, no, the masculines manifest these connections, and then they start this journey, and a lot of them get really scared and run away and get off the path for a while. And when that happens, Spirit does a couple of things with the feminines. They either release the feminines, so the feminines go be with a soulmate, they get to still do their work and have their manifestations, and they're still a soul flame, they're still on this journey, but they are just working with another person, or working, or they're working a solo path, but there's like a release that happens. There's like a peace that can come in, and I've watched this happen with friends of mine. Oh, and the quote, I digressed. But one of the things that the masculines really, really have to learn on this journey, and I feel like Spirit is pretty soft and gentle with them in the beginning, and then it gets more firm and more firm. And I feel that that's kind of where we're at right now, is that the divine is saying, like, no more of this avoidance. And it's going to come down really hard on the divine masculine collectives, those that are avoiding, those that have been choosing fear, those that have been choosing self-sabotage and believing that self-sabotage is their intuition. So this is something that the beautiful divine masculine that I've been working with shared and kind of channeled from their own journey. And it's this idea of surrender, and that the masculines have a very difficult time with surrender. And a lot of times they can surrender, they can think that they're surrendering to their intuition, they can call it their intuition, but it's not their intuition, it's their mind. It is the devil energy. It's the thoughts, it's self-sabotage. It's the thing that keeps them stuck. So they're like, I'm surrendering, and they can fight that tooth and nail, right? Like if they're confronted, is that really your intuition? Of course it's my intuition. We've even chatted about it, and so it's come up like, I don't want to poke the bear, but are you sure that's your intuition right now? Yes, this is my intuition. Okay. So it's either you can surrender to the divine, or you can surrender to self-sabotage. And when you're surrendering to self-sabotage, divine masculines, I'm talking directly to you. This is something you guys really, really have to face on this journey, let's say. You are actually in the mind. You're actually in the mind. I know you don't think that you are, but you are. And it's something that this divine masculine has been able to transcend and to identify. So it's possible. And this was channeled through that learning, through that lesson. And now I think moving forward, once you've identified that, you'll be able to see it a little more clearly. You may not be able to see it in the moment, but once the moment passes and you get some space, hopefully you'll be able to be like, oh my God, I was totally in self-sabotage. That wasn't my intuition. I wasn't in my heart. And the key is getting back into the body. The key is slowing the nervous system down. The key is getting into breathing, stillness, and bringing all that focus and all that attention. Literally, like if you just want to focus on your heart as you breathe, or just focus on your belly as you breathe. It's very simple, but these are just those pattern interruption sort of tactics or tools that could be helpful. And this is the type of stuff that I do in my coaching practice with non-twin flames, just in somatic kind of coaching and breath work and healing. So these are things that as humans we have to be able to use and integrate to help us when we are stuck in a loop. I've digressed quite a bit, but again, I'm just kind of channeling here with all the new ideas and information. So it's about transcending the logical mind for the divine masculines, okay? And knowing that you can really get stuck in that self-sabotage, and that's when you make wrong choices, truly. I've heard other readers say this too, and it empowers me to say it, but yeah, there is a wrong choice. There's 100% a wrong choice, because it's turning away from the divine. It's turning away from God, and it's saying I'm more powerful. And you don't necessarily think that that's what you're saying consciously, but that's what you're doing. You know, you're testing God, you're testing yourself. So whenever you are in that devil energy, which is the mind, you're very, very turned away from your heart. You're very, very turned away from your divine feminine, and you're very turned away from the divine. Because ultimately, I mean, we've said it a million times, we'll say it again, when you're running from your feminine, you're running from God, period. You're running from your destiny. You're running from your mission. You're running from your soul contract. The Akashic records, like, that hold all of this information, you're running from that. So, my coffee's gone cold, of course. These are some things that have been being downloaded, and I'm sharing this here to this beautiful community because I feel like so many of you identify with the little bits and pieces I've shared, the personal things I've shared about my journey. You've identified, and so it feels like we're in a similar collective. And I just wanted to say that in case there's one person watching that has been beating themselves up because they're not in union and they think it's their fault. We are all individuals. I know that we are connected through soul, and we're the same soul, and we share the same resonance, but we are two different bodies, two different personalities. And those personalities are meant to be transcended. But if your divine masculine is not choosing to do that work, then there's nothing you can do but tune into yourself and give yourself all of that love and listen to the messages from the divine. You know, I have seen divine feminines accomplish all of their goals and manifestations without their twin. They have. You know, who's to say how it could be, you know, if they were with their twin? That's not up to us, right? It's just, is this person happy? Has this person stayed on their spiritual path and journey? Is this person doing their mission work? Has this person manifested what they want? Yes. So I'm saying that as like a little bit of hope in case some are feeling that frustration and even anger around their own journeys at this time, and because so many twins are coming into union and it's so beautiful. I know that for those that aren't, that can feel very triggering in the sense like, well, what am I doing wrong? And sometimes you're not doing anything wrong. However, you'll know. Don't do what the divine masculines do. Don't get into self-sabotage or devil energy and think that, oh, it's all him, because that's a whole nother thing. But I don't think I'm really talking to that collective here. I think when I might be on some of my other social medias, I might get a little bit more of that collective that is a little bit in spiritual bypass. But I feel like when I'm talking to you guys here on YouTube, for the most part, that you guys are really the ones doing the work and in this spiritual accountability and not bypassing. So okay, and then let me address, because I addressed a little bit kind of the self-sabotage that the divine masculines experience and that they go into, and I will at some point share more of that, perhaps have this divine masculine come do a video with me. I'm not sure, because we are working on a course, so we'll see what happens. But I want to address the divine feminine energies before we go into the cards, and I promise I'll go into the cards today. So the divine feminine energy right now, it feels like there has been an opening of a portal and a potentiality for the divine feminines to walk through into peace and harmony. where their divine masculine is almost obsolete. That might sound really harsh, but this is exactly where the divine needs the divine feminine to be at this time, especially factoring in all that energy I just shared. So, I actually think I'm going to go heat this up. Steaming hot coffee, yay. Okay, and I actually just got the download while I took that quick little break that I'm actually going to be doing a part 1 to the video and a part 2 to the video. So those that are only interested in the card readings, you can just watch the card reading, and those that are interested in the channeling, you can watch the channeling, and those that want both, you can watch both, yay! Okay, cool. Because I know digestible time, what am I saying? Yeah, shortened, condensed time videos is helpful. That didn't make sense, but I think you know what I mean. Okay. All right, so the divine feminine energy, transcending the need for the masculine. What I mean by that is when you first meet your masculine, when the twins meet, they experience what it's like to be in the presence of the divine. They experience they experience that feeling of that hole that has been within them their entire lives, where they have felt something was missing. And society and the world can definitely feed us a lot of propaganda that it is money, that it is success, that it is a celebrity, that it is a partner, a lover, someone, that we want to spend our life with. But really what it is, it's a divine hole. It's a God hole, okay? It's, why we're attracted to, some people are attracted to experiences that are transcendent, risk, right? To get that rush, to get that high. People like to use drugs. People like to use all these things like sex, because they're getting close to touching the divine, but they're not quite touching the divine. And the twin flames have this hole really strongly. Maybe more than others. I'm not sure. Maybe we all do. I don't know. I'm not pretending to be the expert here. I can only speak to my experience. So when you meet your twin, you experience that hole being filled. You experience that, oh my God, I'm in the presence of the divine. You don't know this consciously, but inside you're like, oh my God, it's Mecca. I'm here. Like, what's happening? And you feel this, right? And you get that little twin flame honeymoon experience, however long that lasts for you. And then it starts to kind of fall apart. And, the twin that kind of tends to be, I hate this term, less awakened, or the not as spiritual twin, the 3D twin, tends to kind of tries to fit this connection, this God-like connection into their 3D lives, and they realize, I can't do this. Something doesn't work, something doesn't match up, it doesn't quite fit. And then, because they're trying to understand it through the mind, they're trying to understand it through their logic, and not in their heart, because their heart is closed, their heart is very shut down. It was opened for a moment, and then they kind of shut down again. And then the other twin goes into her or his own devil energy, because then that puts that twin into chaser, and that puts, wait, no, God, no, stay. Don't leave me. This is what I've been looking for my entire life. Like, where is this feel? I need this. Like, where is this going? Right? Chaos ensues. We're all in our ego. We're in our shit. It's not good. It's ugly. Okay? And then separation happens. And then, there's so many different points on that path of separation that kind of get hit for each twin. Avoidance, withdrawal, fear, anger, denial, like running, you name it, like it's all there. Mission work for the divine feminines most of the time, but sometimes the divine masculines, right? Getting on mission, starting to help, starting to awaken to their intuition, trusting their intuition above all else. Like, doesn't matter what this person sitting in front of me says, my intuition is the gospel, not what you're saying to me, right? So that is kind of, those are different points. The divine feminine right now, the period that I'm speaking to, or the collective that I'm speaking to, is in this place of transcending all of that, where that feeling of like this God hole that this person filled, that if I was, not in this 3D heavy, dense planet, I would be with my creator. I would have that hole filled all the time. I wouldn't be human. It wouldn't even be an issue, right? That feeling of like home is somewhere outside of me. Home is a person. Home is outside of me. And I just want to feel that. We've transcended that. If you don't feel that yet, know that that is available to you. It may not be available to you in every moment of every day, but it is available it's a choice. It's a choice that you can make, and it's a choice you're probably going to have to make over and over and over again, because again, we're still human, we're still living in the third density. So we're going to be challenged on that, but it feels like that that's available because I've been experiencing it. And I know others have. I've been experiencing this feeling of, you know, on periods of this journey in separation and in kind of the breakdown of the 3D lives, or of like our 3D lives and all the karmic stuff and the towers and whatnot, I've I've longed to not be by myself. I've had resistance to being by myself, in the sense of literally just in spending like a weekend by myself. Like, oh, so much frustration there, and I just want to go get out in the world and be a part of the world, and watching families like hang out together and just being like, oh, I wish I could hang out with my family, you know, just that kind of sort of longing. That's unbelievably, like, it's weird how that just like is gone, where I stepped into this place of awareness of I am the shit. I am the best person I could ever possibly hang out with right now, and no one brings me as much joy or comfort or excitement as myself. And feeling like there's this lack or this longing or there's this God wound or this God hole that I need to fill through an activity, a person, a place, a thing, that's gone. So in that sense, we've transcended the masculine, because the whole point of wanting to come back together with the masculine was to come back to that wholeness, to come back to that place of the divine, the puzzle pieces, right? And it's really interesting because a reader friend of mine and I had chatted about this before, where our journeys were fairly unique in the sense that the divine was holding things back from us until we got into union. And it wasn't like there was anything we could do about union. Like, it was like, you're good. You're good. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. We need you to just sit down. We need you to surrender. We need you to trust. And we need you to know that we're doing it. Like, Spirit's got this. So just sit down and trust. But also, there's a bunch of these manifestations and these things that you really want. And no, you can't go do them on your own. No, sorry. You can't go have this on your own. You can't go do that on your own. It's going to come when you guys come into union. And so there's just like this very frustrating place to be in, to be honest with you. Like, I was angry, and I've been angry, like pissed about that, and I've wanted to rebel against that and like, well, I'm gonna go do it on my own and like screw this person and blah 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 blah. And I feel like what's happened is, and her and I used to talk about, well, if you experience the peace within you without anybody else, if you experience that oneness with the divine and just feeling absolute peace and ecstasy for no reason, call me and let me know what you did. Like, call me and let me know how you got there. And we just joked about it because we were like, it feels like this is what the divine needs from us. They need us to get to this place of like absolute transcendence and just like literally like no fucks given, like at all. Like transcending your manifestations, transcending your desires and your dreams and your wants and your need for human contact or your need for sex or your need for food or like whatever. I haven't transcended my need for food. Just had to say that. But you like we were just joking about it. Like, it felt almost impossible, and I feel this new moon, at least for me personally, and I haven't chatted with her, but it would be very interesting to check in with her to see, is I feel that we're there. I feel that that's available. And again, it's not going to be available in every moment. We're humans. We're going to have emotions. We're going to have feelings. We're going to get in our own way. We're going to get in our head sometimes. But just to know that transcendence is always available. It's always an option to go back to this place of, actually, I am my own best friend. I am my own divine channel. Like, I am the pathway to God. There is no third party that I need to go to connect to God, which is what religion has got us on for. That's a whole nother topic, and I will not go into that here. But yeah, like, there's no like, you can't get to God unless you do this or you have this. The connection to God is always within you. And so I feel that for the divine feminines, that's a big, big beautiful, intense energy. And it's going to be really interesting to see what that does in these divine connections. But what I've personally experienced is like I'm my own best friend and I am my own champion. And I am my own, like, you will not mess with me, right? Like, nope, you're not going to disturb my peace. You don't get to disturb my peace. Nope, nope, nope. And so there's been a process and an unfolding here as that has grown stronger and stronger, where I'm looking at everything in my life. I'm looking at all the things that have happened. I don't care if you are my blood relative. I don't care if you're my twin soul. I don't care, but you do not get to show up that way with me anymore. That's kind of the energy that's like that initiated me into it. And then now I'm coming into this place of just absolute peace, and like it doesn't matter what you do at all. Like I don't need you, I don't want you, it's like nope, not necessary. Let me explain that a little bit, because I feel like that's pretty harsh. It's this detachment. It's this like insane experience of detachment where when you are one with the divine and you have made a home for yourself within the divine and within the high heart chakra, which is that kind of Christ consciousness, you've transcended all illusion of suffering. You've transcended the need for approval. You've transcended the need for, it's not even just approval, but I want to say connection, but it's not like I'm not a human who still doesn't need connection, but it's just you trust that the divine is going to provide that's going to come whenever you need it. If it's a day, you know, it's out of the blue, it's unexpected. Your trust has just been put in something else that's so much bigger than you, but then you know it is you. Oof, this is a rough channeling, I gotta say. I'm gonna watch this back and be like, oh, why am I saying that? But I'm still gonna post it because they're telling me to. So this is like one of the first times where I've been like, oh, should I post this? I don't know. I hope it makes sense and I hope it resonates. And if you have any questions about anything that I've shared, or you disagree, or you want to know, maybe I misspoke and I didn't say something correctly, I would love to have that dialogue with you. So feel free to comment below and let me know. Yeah, it's not that you've become like a non-human it's not that I feel like I'm above being human and I don't have certain desires and wants. It's that those exist, but then there's like this deeper, higher perspective and higher awareness and knowledge that I'm okay no matter what. And like that is really solidified, and that's gotten so much deeper. And so when I am on those days where it's crickets and it doesn't feel like there's any energy around me besides myself, instead of feeling like bad about that, or that there's something wrong, or like, oh, I'm not in the flow, like, no one cares about whatever stories that our ego can make up, I actually feel completely free and completely whole in my own company, in my own experience, in my own truth, because it's me and God always. I'm not sure how that translated, but I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to do part 2, and I'll do the cards in just a moment. All right, I'll be back. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and share and all those good things, because that's really the only way these videos get seen, is if they get liked and viewed. So that's YouTube for you.